We are back, Season 4 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs podcast. I'm Tyler, and along with me are two other hosts and a producer. For those of you who are new to the podcast, we like to showcase breweries, their beers, and conclude every episode with a thematic-ish conversation. If you're a casual listener or a seasoned vet, you know what to expect. Producers continue to change throughout episodes, but the same old connoisseurs will continue to provide top-tier content. Please feel free to listen to all of our previous episodes and producer specials to get an insight into all the breweries and beers we've mostly enjoyed. And whether you're new or returning, we are pleased to be your favorite craft beer podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Now for today's episode. Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris, and along with us today, producer Shea, and we just rhymed.
Hey!
Look at
that, right?
Yeah, it was totally intentional.
Yes, I know what you did there.
We got to bring Shea in for that exact rhyme.
I was surprised to see that they were wanting to do this.
Why?
I don't know. I was shocked.
No.
But, to each their own.
Here they are.
Ah, yes.
In the flesh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not familiar with Shea, but I'm sure we'll get together here. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Creemore Springs Brewery out of Creemore, Ontario.
It's nice when they do that.
Yeah, it makes it easier for us.
Yeah,
it really does.
Very simple.
Easy to remember where they are.
It's true.
So we're going to be having two beers today. The first is the Premium Lager, which is a Bohemian Lager. And the second is Witbier, the summer edition, which is a Belgian Style Witbier.
Very good. And to finish up the episode, we're going to be discussing what type of events we like and what we want to see if we had our own event. So we'll be right back to talk about the brewery.
And we're back.
We are back.
Creemore Springs is located at 139 Mill Street in Creemore, Ontario. And Creemore is located about 1 hour north of Pearson Airport, 30 minutes west of Barrie, and about 25 minutes south of Collingwood in Clearview Township.
It's true.
Clear view going right into the brewery, I bet.
Yeah.
What is it east of?
You know what? What is it east of?
The
water.
Yeah.
It's east
Probably
of
a
water.
lake
Yeah, it's true.
of some sort.
Yes.
Now, the one thing I will mention is some of the Shea was talking about doing the research beforehand, and
Did research?
yeah, for the script.
Oh, my goodness.
And a lot of the information Shea was saying was like some of the reviews. A lot of the reviews were tied to people checking beers in at Pearson International Airport.
Really?
There's just a lot, and then as well as on the flights. Yeah. So
I checked a couple beers in before on flights. I mean, obviously it wouldn't go through until after I landed, but still.
But on the flights, Air Canada serves the Creemore.
There you go.
There you go.
No,
good
there
way to
you
go.
guys go.
Hey, I actually did see Creemore at the Cineplex last night watching Despicable Me 4. I was almost going to get a Creemore, actually, because I knew we were having them on.
Just to up those beers drank.
But then I was like, they have the one we're having.
Yeah,
one of the ones we're having, so there's no
probably
point in
the
having
one.
it. So I spent $9 on a Coors Banquet instead.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Yikes.
What are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
Poutine, though.
Not that.
Poutine was good.
Poutine.
Yeah.
Okay. Poutine instead of popcorn.
Yeah, I'm not a popcorn person.
I'm with you. I'd rather the poutine too.
Exactly.
No, I'd take the popcorn all day.
Well, then that makes two of us and one of you. That's math.
Well, back to Creemore. Founded in 1987, the idea of craft breweries, certainly not the norm at that point.
No.
But founder John Wiggins was not letting normalcy dictate his dreams. With the help of two friends, one being a master brewer, and the support from locals, John made his dream into a reality.
Yeah.
There you go.
And thank God for that.
Yeah,
Don't you like it when dreams become reality?
I love it.
Probably for the most part. I mean, sometimes there can be bad dreams that become realities too, I guess.
Are those
When
dreams or
good
nightmares?
dreams become reality, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the brewery then, guys. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea.
So we talked about obviously this being founded in 1987. Anybody around for when it was opened?
No,
I wasn't even thought of at that point, so no.
this brewery is actually older than all of us.
Yeah.
It's hard to find those.
It is hard to find that.
I think, because again, just the craft breweries for sure, right? There's other breweries that have been around a lot longer, but craft breweries, again, weren't the norm back then. But repurposed hardware store right on the main street there. So again, kind of just an interesting location of where they started out. And I'm surprised that there weren't any kind of like thematic names of beers, named after a hardware store.
Yeah, they weren't really doing that back then.
No.
I do wonder if they got a discount on the wood and whatnot that they would have got from the hardware.
Yeah, well, it was repurposed.
Whatever's left over.
What was left over? Okay, yeah. We'll throw it in with the mortgage.
Yeah, we've got some loose nails here, some screws, who knows? Yeah.
I wonder, same location the whole time since 1987, I guess, eh?
Well, yeah, it's right on the main street, and Creemore's not
Good
massive.
location.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
so
say.
that Mill Street seems to be a main street coming in and out,
There you go.
running north-south. So, again,
North to Collingwood, south to Pearson.
And east to where?
I don't know where.
See, we got
Oh,
it.
Barrie.
East would be Barrie, yeah. West, you'd be heading towards the lake.
Yeah.
Another lake.
Well, same lake, just a different.
Yeah.
Different piece of it.
Well, unless you're going up to the bay.
Yeah.
That would be Georgian Bay.
But that's part of the lake.
Well, it is,
Kind of.
but it's the bay. Bays are different than lakes.
Anyways, we talked about
Actually,
lakes last
the Bay is a
episode.
retail store available in malls.
Fair enough.
That is true.
They also have some Zellers in them again. Fun fact. Anyway,
Yeah. So this beer, it's made from their traditional copper kettle with Creemore spring water, which makes sense. If you have a spring going through your town, you might as well use that nice water to make beer.
Yeah.
This process has not changed from day one. So the spring water comes from the Creemore Nature Preserve that makes up 3.4 kilometers of a natural wonder.
Yeah. Has anybody been to that natural wonder?
no.
Probably drove by it.
I have driven by it, and when it was mentioned that it's near Collingwood, it was, I believe, on a trip from Blue Mountain back home. So that would
I'm
make
assuming
sense.
that would have been back home to your hometown, not where you live now.
No, to London.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a bunch of
Left, right, left, right,
go,
left, right,
go
left, right.
on this road for 10 kilometers, turn right. Go on
Yeah,
this
yeah.
road, turn left. That's
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I think in terms of the way that I go to Collingwood, I've never went through Creemore, or else I probably would have stopped.
Well, we don't live in the same spot, so
I know.
probably
I get that.
You guys don't live together? This whole time I thought you guys had a two-bedroom.
You guys lived together before? I'm okay.
Yeah. Chris and I never lived
we
together.
never lived together.
I thought you did.
No.
Oh, well.
No.
Damn. You guys missed it. I'm sure you've been lovely roommates.
We talked about it for fourth year, but we did
yeah.
not do it.
We just couldn't get the shower curtain.
In all fairness, if you guys were probably roommates for the fourth year, you might not be friends now.
That's true.
It's true.
Nice. Start the first and fourth year off not being friends. Would have been great.
That's second and third year, let me tell you.
That's where we shine. Do you want to talk about the next point there?
Sure. So Creemore Springs has committed to green initiatives. So they state that 99.5% of their brewery waste does not reach a landfill.
That's good.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good percentage.
It certainly is.
Almost 100%.
Yeah.
Beyond their year-round and seasonal beers, Creemore created their Discovery Series. So this series of brews is inspired by classic global beers.
Yeah. Which I don't think I've ever had one from their Discovery Series.
I
pretty much
don't
can confirm I have not.
I don't believe I have either.
Which doesn't say how often they're brewed or anything like that.
No.
That'd be some good information to have. But it'd be nice to kind of dip into some of that because I feel like they could. And we'll talk about this a little bit later on about the number of beers that they've actually created for a good sized brewery. It hasn't been that many. Like
No,
they've
it's quite
stayed
low.
very true to themselves, which I guess maybe is part of their success over the last whatever that is, 37 years.
Yeah.
Good mathing.
There you go.
Yeah, it's on the fly. Not a big deal.
It's literally just your age plus 2.
I'm not 35 yet.
Close, though.
All right. So yeah, actually, we're going to talk about the thematic conversation coming, at the end of the episode. But this really ties in here. So Creemore Springs Brewery, they do love their events. There's two that we're going to mention. I'll maybe talk about the first one. Chris, you could talk about the second one.
Sure.
Excellent. So they held the Tourismore, which happened on May 11th of this past year, and that is inspired by their Gaelic roots. So I guess Creemore has a lot of Gaelic history there.
Okay.
And the Tourismore means great journey. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's an annual bike ride. They welcome all types of riders. So you could be very beginner. You can go all the way to like a seasoned expert. And they have four different kind of variations of races.
Distances, if you will.
Yeah, and also some long distances that then go from like pavement to dirt roads. So kind of
Oh,
keeping
I
that
see.
in mind. So they say like when you go to register, definitely take a look at what the route looks like, because you do not want to be bringing like a very expensive road-only bike on a very gravelly road
with your thin tires,
Yeah.
and then you're wiped out right away.
And it was actually really cool because Shea had some of the information there, and it was along the roads they do have like repair stops as well.
Okay.
So it's well thought out. I'm sure there's a lot of work
It's like
that
the
goes
old
into that.
Tour de France.
Yeah, most of the tourists
Tour de Creemore.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, very interesting that they do that. We haven't seen any other brewery kind of do a bike event. We've seen ones that kind of do running.
Yeah,
and
run
those.
clubs and whatnot.
Yeah. So, kind of cool that they've incorporated the bike thing. Now, I think the best part is after it's really all said and done, everyone comes back to the brewery and they do have some cold beer there,
That is
Imagine
a
that.
great part.
some lunch, and some live music. So, pedal your heart's content, and then have some beer
Grab a little pint.
or 3.
Listen to some live music.
Yeah.
you go.
Craft some patio lanterns.
During the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, depends how long you take to complete your bike ride.
Yeah, just slow and steady.
So the other event they hold is called the Copper Kettle Festival, which is going to be held on August 24th of this year. So this is upcoming. It's packed with a classic car show, not card show, local makers, live music, and their fresh beer.
Nice.
They're excited to be bringing back the festival. And we, as the Craft Beer Connoisseurs, are waiting for maybe
Yeah.
a formal invitation here, maybe for a live show or recording. I think that would be a nice addition to the event.
I think it's just a good excuse for us to go to Creemore.
Yeah.
Well, that too. But I mean, there's cross promotion. There's an opportunity for us to enjoy some of the.
There's an opportunity to be beneficial for both parties.
Yeah.
Before you know it, we're bigger than Creemore.
I wouldn't bike up there. Maybe we get in a vehicle and.
I would suggest driving.
Yeah,
Yes.
you could bike while you're there.
It's true.
Just not to get there.
Yeah. I'm gonna drive to Creemore. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, that.
If I was getting on a bike to go to Creemore for August 24th, I probably should start biking now.
last week, I timed it up for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Copper Kettle Festival coming up August 24th, 2024. So we're gonna pump that right now.
Cool.
And formal invitation.
I thought you were going to say pedal it right now. That's besides the point.
No.
Anyway, on Untapped, Creemore Springs has created 21 beers with an average rating of 3.45 out of 5. This is a unique one in terms of beers that we had, though. I haven't seen this in a while. Chris, you haven't seen this in a while, eh? Where Tyler's in the lead? What is this?
Interesting.
What is this? This has got to be a joke that Shea's
He must
playing
have
here.
he must have been to Creemore.
No, Creemore fanboy.
But apparently Creemore came to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, my in-laws, I believe, picked up a bunch of stuff from Creemore when they went on a bit of a road trip.
Oh, nice.
Last year, so they picked up the 6 that I have had,
That's the key.
and again, 21 beers.
Yeah, not a lot.
On Untapped.
In
Not to say
37
that
years.
Right, 37 years, but Untapped wasn't around for all that time.
No, it wasn't.
So we'll
That was pre-internet.
we'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that
I
one.
bet you they had an IPA back in 1989 that was just bomb.
Yeah,
A hazy juice bomb.
and it won't be, and it'll just never be on Untapped.
Lost to history.
Unless
It's
they've got
only
the-
stories now.
the lore. So I've had 6, and the top rated was actually the Session IPA at 4. So good Session IPA.
Wow, I have had only one. Also the Session IPA, also a 4.
So I had 5, but my highest rated is Session IPA at a 3.75. Producer Shea, 1 beer.
Oh,
Oh,
In the Chris camp.
yes, in the Chris Camp. But he's had the lager.
Okay, and what'd Shay give it?
Well, we're not going to spoil that because I'm sure you are just dying to know what Shea gives it, and you'll know in a little bit. The hours at Creemore, Monday to Saturday, 11 to 6, Sunday, 11 to 5, but lots of brewery tours are available and group visits. If you just want to, email ahead, just don't show up expecting a tour. You want to email ahead.
Yeah.
You can email the folks at creemoresprings.com. I'm sure they'll get back to you within 24 business hours.
No, that's
literally
the email. The folks at creemoresprings.com. People might be like, "Well, we were waiting for the email."
yeah.
What did
yeah,
you
just
say?
email the folks
Email
at
the
Creemore
folks there.
Springs. Oh,
Good
yeah.
times. Good times.
Very good.
Anywho,
All right. Well, as always, we're going to link to their information on our social media.
And we should probably get on to beer numero uno. A big shout out and thank you to Alexander for organizing the sending of the beers.
For sure.
Pretty straight to the point.
Yes. Boom, 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 boom. And Tyler, you got a call
Yeah.
from some lady, I believe,
Yeah, wonderful Creemore Springs employee.
said that the beers would be delivered, and boom, Creemore Springs van showed up. Boom, beers.
You know what? It was nice seeing on the cameras this beautiful van back into the driveway. Because it was the right driveway. You know, that was nice.
That's a good first step.
Beer being delivered to the right location. Check. And then the gentleman, the delivery driver, great. You know, I texted him. He said, hey, got these beers coming, getting close. And I said, come on in. Let me open the door. So I unlocked the door while I was at work. And instead of these beers sitting outside in the heat, put them inside the door, shut the door, I locked the door.
A boom, nice climate-controlled environment.
Oh,
There you go.
I came home and the beers were still cold. That is a good van they've got there.
That is a good van. And Creemore branded van. Pretty cool.
Beautiful wrap. Like, you can't miss this thing. If it's screaming down the highway, you're like, okay, yeah, I know what's up.
People need beer, and it's got to go.
It's got to go.
And then everyone in the neighborhood is like, oh my God, this guy's getting Creemore right
Yeah.
to the door.
Yeah, I think everybody probably was saying that. Oh, no.
I heard them whispering it as I came in.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I can't remember your neighbor's name. They're going to walk over and grab something and take it back.
Yeah, well, that's why I said put it in
Yeah.
after some of the other
Got
instances.
some porch pirates here.
I mean, this guy did come over the other day. He did the typical old man coming over to see what was going on when I was ripping out the shrub in the front.
I was like, looks like you're rubbing up the shrub. Put the shrub there.
You're taking the shrub out if you just get those roots. I was like, all right. You're a good guy.
Nice lawn you got there.
Yeah. I forget what his name is, too. Anyways, moral of the story.
Harold.
It was like, it's Gerald. It's Gerald. I think it's Gerald. I think someone was once. Anyways, moral of the story, beers were delivered. Everybody along the process, from conversation about getting beers, delivery of beers, and the actual execution of the delivery. Creemore is on it.
And I will commend you.
Thank you.
For keeping these beers cold.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's
yeah, I believe you missed the next part.
and I'm just
you-
going to point it
this is
right
still
back
you.
to me.
This is still
All
you.
right.
Yeah, you're up.
I feel like that was a little grew from watching Despicable Me. Anyway, the first beer is the premium lager, which is a Bohemian Lager, 5% ABV, and the IBUs are listed at 24.
There you go.
I like when the IBUs are listed.
Yes.
So this unique lager has a brilliant amber color, overtones of sweet caramel, and appealing, well-balanced floral hop character. It's fire brewed using the best ingredients and their own spring water, like we mentioned.
Yep.
We should expect smells of fresh malt bouquet, clean, slightly nutty, with a mild floral hop.
Okay. Bibbidi bobbidi boop. It smells good, they say.
It should.
On Untapped, you can follow us at Craft Beer Connoisseurs and on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons. The overall rating for Premium Lager is a 3.46 out of the 5. Whew. You guys ready for this?
Hit it.
With
Barnity.
32.8 thousand check-ins.
That's a lot.
She's a staple.
Well, I mean, it's been around since 1987, though Untapped hasn't been around since then. But imagine if Untapped was around in 87, like, you're paper copying it, probably be over 200,000 by now.
But this explains why they probably keep, a a smaller scale of beers, right?
Yeah.
Because they can only brew so much, and when you've got this really kind of pushed out all over the place.
It is everywhere you could go, probably.
Yeah.
You saw it at the movie theater yesterday, Brett. So
Yeah.
You can probably see it at your convenience stores.
It's in air. It's
Not
it's
at the LCBO.
Literally on airplanes.
That is not, it's not there.
It's flying to different countries. Yeah. So of those 32.8 thousand, 840 of those have been 5 out of 5s. And of our CBC friends, 112 of them have checked it in, with the average at 3.5. Again, our friends are pretty close to that
Pretty on it.
overall.
Pretty on par.
We like that. We like that. All right. Let's get drinking here, guys. Let's grab that can, grab that glass, and let's open her up. Ooh. Very nice. Very nice.
I like these cans too, kind of like a matte finish on the label.
They are matte finish,
Yeah.
but we're not drinking out of the can.
No, we're not. But what we are doing is drinking out of a pint glass today. So make sure to use your proper glassware. Great sounds.
All right, what do you see, Chris? You got yours poured there.
You were the first of the punch there.
Yeah. So I see. It's kind of like a dark caramel, dark brownish, or more like a light brown, I guess, but dark caramel. This glass is nice because, as you'll see in the pictures,
It's yours.
well, yeah, it tapers as it goes down, and so what we get here is kind of a darker color up top where it's wider, and then it's actually lighter down at the bottom.
Very light at the bottom, yes. A nice hue, kind of a transition.
Yes,
You're kind of like a sunburst.
Yes.
You know?
ombre.
If you would have
if
poured
you
it,
will.
if you would have poured it
will.
really fast, maybe it could have looked like a lava lamp. But don't pour it fast. Pour it
No.
nice and gentle, just like I did. I know you can't see it, but I had the best pour.
Yeah.
I don't know about
I
that.
think Tyler's pour looks pretty good, and a nice head on
You
it.
want to know whose pour wasn't good? Chris.
I honestly, this looks like a fantastic beer.
That looks how it should be served.
It looks
at
like
the
somebody
bar.
has their smart serve over there.
I don't.
No, just your prud'homme.
Yes, I do have my Prud'homme.
I got my smart serve. Joke's on you.
Yeah, it's great that you got Smart Serve that you did online. That you don't have to show anything in person.
Yeah.
So what's that have to do with pouring
Well,
beer?
no, you do have to show it in person. That's the thing. Like it's like a certificate. One of those things now where you just do like it used to be a card, and now it's just like it's like your SIM
No,
card.
I'm saying that you don't have it. It's all theory based. There's no
Oh, yeah,
practical
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So it doesn't dictate how well you pour or not pour a beer.
No, it just
Just
dictates.
allows you
Do you
to
know
pour it.
Do you know that when somebody's falling over in the corner, probably shouldn't serve them?
Yeah, it's less about how to serve and more of should you.
Who not to serve.
And that's why it's smart. Anyway,
Yeah, I would say definitely a light golden color with a bit of a amber kind of hue to it.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? Very nice. Smell? Did you just take a sip of it?
no.
You did.
No, I didn't actually.
You did.
I'm
too.
quite parched, but I did not.
You
I had
certainly
a
did.
nice little sniff right here.
No, you did not. You forgot the order of operations.
No, I understand how this goes. I've been doing it for like 4 years.
All right, Shay, check,
but what I'm
check
te-
the glass.
Yeah, we're going back on
are,
this.
Are there,
Get right up in there.
are there lip stains on it?
Yes.
From Chris.
You forgot what we're doing. Smell it. Give us a
no,
smell.
that's
then.
what I was doing. Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire.
You got caught red-nosed.
Yeah. Anyway, you definitely get the floralness and the maltiness out of the scent, if you will, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Should we drink it now?
Yeah.
Yes,
If we want
I
to.
think we all should.
You how about Chris and Brett? You go first. Let's see where we're at.
Okay. Brett already had one, but
Yeah. Well, I know that. He knows that. He just doesn't want to admit to it. Look at his face, just lying on.
That is refreshing.
All right. I'm gonna.
I
get
was
into
just
it.
going to say that.
Two great minds think alike.
It actually is very refreshing right now.
I mean, it could have just been like, the temperature in here, which is at a very probably nice 20.5 degrees, potentially.
It's nice. It's comfortable.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no complaints.
I will say, we mentioned earlier that I had only had one beer from Creemore, and it was the Session IPA. But I've actually had this beer several times, which we were talking about a little bit offline. I just have not unchecked it or untapped it yet. So
Check.
checked it in on Untapped.
Yes.
So which I
but
will
guess
be
what?
doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, you will be doing that.
I will.
Yeah, there you
now
go.
I get the chance.
Tyler, how about you, my friend?
Wow. Strong words. Yeah.
Sorry, acquaintance.
Yeah, I'm getting a good malty kind of undertone
Yeah.
to this beer. It is light enough, but it's light to drink, but it's got good body to it. So it's got good depth. So it has a good flavor kind of characteristic to it. It's not like you're just drinking a very light lager where it's in and out. This holds its own, and I feel like this is a good kind of complement to a nice dinner, right?
Yeah. Nice carbonation on it, actually. I'm enjoying that. I think that goes to the refreshing part of it. It's actually kind of interesting that this beer has gained such a foothold in the beer industry, like where it becomes something where you get at every restaurant, where it's, at the movie theater, wherever. Because it's not like your typical lager from the big guys, right? That gets really popular. So this actually has some character to it, which is kind of surprising as to why it.
Yes,
You know,
and like when you think of your Molsons or Coors Banquets or things like that, lagers, for example, you're looking at ones that are in and out, as you said, in 5 minutes or 4 minutes on a warm day, right?
Yeah.
Or this one, you're not chugging this. You're not getting to your knees and doing a shotgun. You are literally sipping it with a nice dinner or on a patio, just kind of casually going through the motions, but getting refreshment in every sip and getting flavor in every sip.
Yeah.
Versus just for the sake of having a beer because, it's a beer.
Right. And I think to kind of dovetail off of what Chris was saying too is like it does have such a stronghold or a foothold in the industry and in restaurants. I think that's part of it is because it is an elevated lager. You know what you're going to get from one of the big three, big five, whatever you want to say. Whereas this here is it's almost lager with distinction.
yeah,
You're ordering this because it's like, say we're sitting around at a nice restaurant,
yeah,
and instead of being like, oh, I'll take a Coors and kind of like bring it down a little bit, it's an upscale. Like, yeah, I'll take a Creemore premium lager because I think it really actually holds its premium. It's not just they're using premium because
right.
I really do think it actually holds with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, I agree.
All right,
that's what I got.
top 5 flavor profiles. That's what I got.
Okay,
All right.
You ready?
I'm
Sure.
ready now.
Number 1 is smooth.
Yeah, smooth, and I think that kind of goes with that caramel kind of flavor profile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2 is light bodied.
I wouldn't necessarily have that in my top 5 because I don't think it's light-bodied per se. I think it does sit a little bit heavy, but that's just my personal opinion.
I wouldn't go light
I
bodied.
have no complaints about it sitting heavy, though, like for sure. But I don't think it's like light-bodied.
No, I don't think it's intended to be light bodied.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Number 3 is malty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, emphasis on this is it's not overbearing. Like
No.
it's not like a strong overbearing malty. It is nice. It's smooth. It's balanced.
Number 4 is sweet. There's a little bit of sweetness
Yeah, I would say
on
just
the back
almost-
end on this.
It finishes nicely with that sweetness, actually.
And finally, hoppy.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously know there's hops in it, but
Yeah.
you're not getting really the hop.
But again, like
No.
from a lager,
You wouldn't expect that.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, carbonated. Like I might put that refreshing. We said even like caramel a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what about this is kind of interesting for me is you said refreshing.
Yes.
I would also say mouthfeel. And I feel like this is very interesting because sometimes refreshing, you think fast finish,
Right.
and not necessarily holding a mouthfeel or something that just kind of lingers or hangs on a bit.
Yeah.
This, I feel, actually can do both. I think it is refreshing as well as it does give you some kind of mouthfeel where you can kind of go back for that next sip and it still feel refreshed. And we've done it. I mean, we've done this segment for maybe 3.5 minutes or so, and we're almost done these beers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
It does say something that when you're going through the motions of this, that the beer's almost finished.
Yeah. All right. Untapped thoughts. Brett, you can take number 1. Chris, you got number 2, and then we'll give our own.
Yes. So the first one's from a doctor.
It's not.
Okay.
Look at the spelling.
Dr. E. And the handle is Dr. E14. On July 3rd, 2024, said, "The OG. What a beautician this beer remains." I mean, yeah. It is. Now, I don't know who put this in here. Might have been Shea.
Well, Shea wrote the script.
But saying that has similar ratings to me, they have 1,272 beers checked in with an overall rating of 4.22. I think that is a fabrication because my rating is like a 3.67.
I think
I think Chris is actually pretty close. I think Chris is like 3.65, 3.66 now, so he's pretty close to me.
I only buy good beers.
Exactly, right? Well, I'm not buying non-beautician beers.
an absolute beautician.
Yes. Anyway,
I
so,
love that word.
Yeah, I know, right?
so the doctor gave it 4 out of 5.
Yeah, and that's DOCTER. So
That's correct. Yes.
Doctor.
Doctor.
All right, next one comes from Wes P. Handles West217 on July 6, 2024. Said solid beer flavored beer.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Simple. And Wes gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
You know, I'm glad the beer was beer flavored.
Yeah,
It'd be really weird if it wasn't.
Yeah.
It does help.
All right. Well, for me, in terms of ratings, I enjoyed this one. Again, this is a pretty nice beer. I'm going to go 3.75 on this one.
This can be a little bit lower than you there, Chris, and give you a 3.5.
Wow. All right, so I have had this, one of my 6, and I gave it a 3.75 before, and I'll give it a 3.75 now. So again, above that average. And Shea has had this previously, as mentioned.
Yeah, people are waiting for what his rating is.
And Shea gave it a 3.25 before, and Shea's going to stick with a 3.25.
Okay, Shay.
All right, Chris, what's that give us?
Yeah, so that gives us a 3.5625 overall, which of course will round down to a 3.5.
Excellent.
And then we should move on to beer number 2.
All right, we're back. We are most certainly back.
All of us are.
And in our lovely possession is the second beer, which is a Witbier, which is the Belgian Style Witbier, coming in at a 4.5% ABV. And Chris, what you love the most, 20 IBUs.
I love this glass for the
Love
most.
it.
Oh.
Oh, don't hey.
Oh,
Hey,
whoa.
don't jump ahead.
Okay. I see.
But what do you like more, glass or IBUs? That are listed.
Definitely glass.
That's what I thought.
It is nice, though. 2 smaller IBU beers.
Yeah.
Not bad. Brett?
Like a kind Creemore welcome, our tradition of Belgian wit is warm and inviting. Indulge in this delicately balanced beer with notes of coriander, smells of banana, clove, and just a touch of citrus.
Can you please
I don't
never
know
do
what
that
you're
voice
doing.
again?
I don't know what
We
you're
were talking
doing.
about singing earlier, so I was going to say, I'm going to try to do this in my best advertising voice.
That's it? That's your best?
Nope, not
That's
a
your
chance.
best one?
Would you like me to go again?
You said you've done this for 4 years, and that's the best one you come up with. Hey, that's all right. Hey, Chris, why don't you do this in your normal voice?
Yeah, so on Untappd, there are 516 check-ins to this beer with a 3.51 rating. 8 of those check-ins are 5 out of 5s, and 11 of those check-ins come from our friends.
Okay.
And they have a rating of 3.83 out of 5. So, small sample size, but our friends have enjoyed this pretty much, quite a bit more than the average overall.
Yeah, almost half a point.
Yeah.
So,
Now the real question is, would we enjoy more?
well,
We shall see.
Cue Tyler.
okay. Well, we just got to remind everybody the order of operations. Usually I say open it up. Chris says about the glassware. Brett does not drink from it. And we describe the beer on the nose and the mouth. All right, let's grab that can, fellas, and let's grab that glass. Let's open her up. Very nice.
Oh, what a sound. What a sound indeed.
Well, we are drinking this out of one of my favorite glasses, but actually one of the least used, unfortunately, which is the wheat beer glass. So make sure to use your proper glassware.
Just watch out for the promotion of Chris and wheat glassware. Coming to a social media platform near you.
This is a nice can. I like
Nice
this.
little matte finish, some would say.
Do you want to? Yeah. Okay. Why don't you describe this can?
Get some original material.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's got the fire brewed logo, Creemore logo, obviously, and then the sun just bursting over the water with some, I can't tell you what kind of trees they are.
That's wheat.
That would be wheat.
Oh my God!
I'm glad somebody got that for me.
Oh man, those damn weed trees get you again.
Where would I be if this was a one-man show?
You'd have no listeners.
Or more. Who knows?
Oh yeah, that's.
Yeah,
We're not going to test that theory out.
So as you can see on the one side, that is definitely a wheat field, and yeah, the sun coming over the horizon there. What kind of trees are those?
Good try.
All right, what do you
try.
Hey, beyond what you can't see in the can, what do you see in the glass? Can you try the glass stuff? Maybe.
Yeah.
I see a dark colored stout.
This is a stout. No. Almost looks like a blue moon, if you will, in the
Yeah. Okay.
light. Nice and orangey.
comparing one beer to another beer that we're not having the podcast.
Yeah, well, people somewhat are familiar with that, so I'm just
true.
trying to help you out.
Yeah.
For those people who are listening that are non-beer people, which is probably very few.
Which is nobody.
They came, they're arborists. They came for the tree content. Oh, Brett, you provide good content.
That's why I'm here. And to drink beer.
Yeah, almost Five Alive-esque
Yeah,
kind of look. A decent little bit of head on her. Not too bad.
Nice and hazy, though. I like
Yeah.
that from a wheat beer.
Yeah.
And then on the nose, you've got the typical wheat beer smell, right? The coriander, like they mentioned. You've got the banana, the clove.
Looked like Tyler took a sip of it.
Yeah, it's because my nose is so big.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's got a big
I
nose.
knew if
not that
I
big,
didn't
though.
jump on it, you guys would.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of cloves and coriander for sure.
Yeah.
Brett, you got that too then?
Yes,
Yeah.
I concur with both what you were saying.
Good.
There's nothing really else to add because, it is what it is.
Yeah. That's maybe the best way to describe it, is what it is. And I am going to now dip into her if somebody wants to join with me.
Yeah, why don't you guys go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mentioned, this is one of my favorite glasses. It's a nice one to hold, right? Nice big glass. It's just, unfortunately, there's not a lot of wheat beers out there, so I don't get to use it.
Now, before we get into this,
Yeah.
and maybe you can have a sip yourself.
Yeah.
I agree. This is a very nice kind of like sturdy glass. Like
Yeah.
you feel like you've got something. Like the pint glass that we just had, I accidentally tapped it on like the faucet in the sink, and I'm like,
How dare you?
Almost break it.
you know what I mean? Because it is thin glass.
It is thin.
But this is not. This is a sturdy glass.
It's a thick boy.
Now, do
You don't break these things very easily.
Well, you should.
It's not an IPA glass by any stretch of imagination.
No.
Well, and that's the other thing, right?
Those are thin glasses.
I think that's why I like the IPA glasses as well, just because of the way the shape, right?
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I'm not a huge fan of a lot of wheat beers.
Right.
So maybe that's why I don't have a lot of them. Where do you stand on wheat beers in general?
Yeah, it's a love-hate thing.
Yeah,
There's
agree.
some that are really good, and there's some that
are poorly done.
or they're just, traditional, and they're just not my kind of cup of tea, right?
The one thing that sometimes separates it is, depending on what your style is maybe a little more too much clove,
Yeah,
or maybe a little too much banana,
Yeah.
maybe a little too much orange peel, right?
hard to balance it.
Hard to balance it, right?
Yeah.
So it's finding the right balance, and some beers have kind of perfected that balance, and there's others that need to try and do that.
Yeah, I find myself just with this kind of glass though, cleaning it out more in between uses.
Yeah.
Because it sits around just a bit more.
And there's, oftentimes the best wheat beers are kind of the ones where they use the wheat beer as the base and then add something to it.
Yep.
I know you guys have talked about the peach half before.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've talked about that
No,
ever in my
you-
entire life.
You know what?
Let's talk about that for a second.
It's been 3 seasons since it last came up, I think.
So
One day, I
just
tell
kind
you.
of adding something to the hef or the whip beer, I think kind of would elevate it for me. But
this is more of a traditional.
yeah, this
style,
is your
for sure.
traditional, and that's
Yep.
what I'm getting from it as I've taken a couple sips. Is that traditional kind of banana? Get that clove, get that, kind of coriander flavor coming through as well.
I think for me, I think they find a good balance here. Maybe a little too much clove forward for me compared to where I like my wheats and whip beers. But still goes down nice, super smooth, etc.
Yeah, I think it's still actually fairly balanced. We know my more love to hate or loathe with wit beers. They're not my top style. They're kind of on the lower end for me for sure. But I do think that this is a little bit more balanced. You get enough of the banana. The banana sometimes comes across as more artificial in a lot of these, which is to me kind of off-putting.
Yep.
But I think because there is more of that drive from that cloviness, that coriander, it's more floral, but it does have that banana kind of undertone. It is a little bit more balanced than some that we've had in the past on the podcast as well.
Yeah. No, it's definitely giving me floral. It's also I feel like there's a bit of an orange on the back end.
That's that touch of citrus, that they talked
Yes.
about, yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe in that orange peel.
Yeah. So that's a nice kind of
Cutter?
Yeah.
That's the best way I could describe
Nice
it too.
addition. It's kind of you mentioned the Blue Moon, and you'll get that served with the orange slice, right? Because the orange kind of goes so well with a wheat beer.
Yeah.
So top 5 flavor profiles. Number 1, a light-bodied.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
It's
I
tough
guess I
with
agree
a
with
wheat
that
beer.
again.
Like maybe for a wheat beer or a wheat beer in general, it is a little bit light, but it certainly it holds its own. Yeah.
It's lighter than the lager we had as the first beer, but I wouldn't say it's light bodied.
Yeah,
necessarily.
I would agree. Yep.
Number 2, sweetness.
I wouldn't put that here.
No, neither would I.
Yeah.
Number 3, banana.
Yeah. I'll wait because I don't know what's coming up.
Okay. Number 4, bread.
I don't. Okay, so if you're thinking banana bread, bit of a stretch. We get bready notes, not in this. That'd be more of a malt forward kind of beer for me. Would be more bready. So I don't get the bread in this.
No, neither do I.
But now I really want a piece of banana bread.
I love banana
Okay.
bread.
And number 5, clove.
Yes, for sure.
I think almost a little too much clove.
Yeah,
But that's just
that's what you said.
it's my personal opinion. But I mean, there's other people's opinions that on this beer.
Before we get there, I think what like Shay's saying here too, wrote down a couple other ones. The citrusy comes
Yes,
through.
I would put that.
Again, it's still kind of refreshing in its own way.
Yep.
I think it's balanced, maybe a bit more than what you kind of think, Brian.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, I think there's some citrus to it. I definitely think that the way that the 1 through 5 right now, because it's been not that many check-ins, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
500
That
or so, yeah.
it definitely should maybe take a little bit of a turn here. I think the citrus kind of needs to be brought in a little bit more. So
It's malleable.
yeah.
You don't hear that word every day, let me tell you. Anyway, so thoughts from other people on Untapped. Tyler, give me the first one. Chris,
Yeah.
you the second one.
Okay, I'll take the first one. As you said, the first one is by Scott J. Handel. Scotty Can on July 3rd, 2024 said, middle in the pick. There was a picture of a flight, as you can see here.
yeah.
Classic wheat beer, light and clove banana-y, slightly unfiltered possibly. Not so sure. Good taste, though. Rated at 3.25 out of 5. Again, this might go back to the haziness of it.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely unfiltered.
And some
Yeah.
would say that Scotty doesn't know if it's unfiltered or not.
Well, possibly.
Don't tell Scotty.
Yeah.
So the next one comes from Steve B. Brobags is the handle. On June 14th, 2024, said, big fan of Creemore. Not a big fan of wheat beers, and the clove taste in this one doesn't really do it for me. Cool guy emoji, and thumbs down emoji, and then beer glasses cheersing emoji.
Got them all in there.
Shea, big fan of emojis. So Steve gave it a 2.75 out of 5.
Which I guess you could expect if you aren't a big fan of wheat beers.
Makes sense.
I mean, that's pretty much what I would say for my review, except mine's going to be a little bit higher with no emojis. I'm going to go with a 3.25. I like the wheat style. It's just a little too clovey for me.
Yeah, I don't mind this one in the whole kind of repertoire of wheat beers. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be a nice guy, and I'm going to give this a 3.5.
Oh, nice guy.
Well, that's where I feel like I'm at with a wheat beer. This one, it's well balanced. I actually feel like it hits on the notes, and that citrus does cut it enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is. And you know what? The more I'm drinking it, the less clove I'm actually getting.
Yep.
Which is kind of interesting. So I'm also going to give it a 3.25, or sorry, a 3.5. I would say
Ooh.
I was closer to a 3.25 at the beginning. It's kind of moved up to a 3.5.
And that's why we drink the beer through, people.
There you go. And Shea, he likes this one. Big fan of this
Okay.
one. So
Okay.
Shea's giving it a 4.25.
He must like all that wheat coming from those trees.
That's the wheat trees. You love a good wheat tree. That is true.
Yeah, it is true. So overall, this is a 3.625
Okay.
out of 5 for us.
I think that rounds up to a 3.75 or rounds down. What do you want to do?
No, let's round it up.
Okay.
You know what? I think in honor of Shea, we're gonna round that up.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's do that.
I think that's the nice thing to do, right?
I think, yeah, just, Shea's here. Let's be nice. But if Shea wasn't here, let me tell you. Anyway, that concludes the review of Creemore Springs and the beers they provided so graciously for this episode today.
Yes, thank you. So coming up, we're going to discuss events.
Okay, you know what? We should wrap this episode up soon. But before we do that, let's talk thematic conversation. We talked about Creemore Springs Brewery. They had 2 events, one that we've already missed and one that we're going to be invited to.
Just got to let Alexander know.
Yeah. But yeah, so we mentioned that they love their events. It's nice to see that they're in full swing or pedaling their way to success. And as such, I figured let's, do a little bit of a roundtable as we do. Conversation on events.
Yeah,
We've been to events before. There's a lot of different kinds of events.
we have.
So let's talk events. Shea may be silent on this one, which is fine.
Shea doesn't like events.
Doesn't get out much.
This is a big event for him.
Yeah.
Glad you can make it. Now go back in your hole.
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding.
All right. So
Please, come on out. Come
To
on.
each their own.
yeah,
right?
to each their own. So I guess really just let's get it out of the way. What kind of events does everybody like? I'll start. We'll make our way Chris, and then we'll go Brett. Probably the simplest way of doing things. Yeah, obviously, I think we're all going to be unanimous on this. We enjoy some good beer events. Beer festivals are great.
Never heard of it.
Are great.
Dislike.
I love a good rib fest. I think
Oh.
rib fest kind of events are really sick. Obviously, you can mix a good rib fest with a good pint.
Yeah.
And then also kind of like growing up in the Stratford area, there was always like Dragon Boat festivals, and that's an event. So a little bit kind of off the beaten path. I wanted to give a little bit something different. And I think those were really interesting to see. I had family that would participate in them as well as I remember one very fond memory of my late grandmother, and just her and I went to one in St. Mary's together, which was really nice. And yeah, so I think it just kind of holds a special place in my heart. Just those kinds of events, a little bit different than some of the things that are just more kind of just traditional. So those are a couple that I like. Chris, anything that you have?
Beer festivals are good.
Yeah, we like those.
I like that.
Yep.
Rib Fest, I do like that. I was actually thinking of that as well.
No way.
Did
we go to Rib Fest together one year?
I don't know if we did.
I don't know if we went to
I don't
London.
think we did.
This year is the year, people.
I have
Go to the
Brett's
London
back
Rib
with-
Fest. Tyler and Chris are going to be there.
Brett's back with his announcing voice.
yeah, his best announcing voice. So I have a beef with Rib Fest. No pun intended.
Because was it pork?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your beef?
I thought it sounded
Dad
good.
joke.
There's
and
also like, okay, go ahead.
you can only get a half rack or a full rack. I want like a taster rack. Like,
Okay.
I want like
You want like a flight rack. Just
Yes.
like a nice
Oh,
little-
flight of ribs.
I want like 2 ribs from
Hey,
each
you
place.
might want to save that.
Right?
You might want to save that coming up. Okay.
Well,
Okay,
that's
that's
just
fair.
my beef with currently, how the rib fests are done.
Okay.
Right?
Is there anything that's a little bit off the beaten path that you've gone to? I mean,
Yeah.
events. I mean, concerts can constitute.
Yeah.
events
So
too, right? But
one thing is, and I haven't done a lot of this lately, but my mom's side of the family, they do this every year, is a family reunion. So there's like
Right, yeah.
a very large amount of people in the family, and so it's nice to kind of get together with people, see people that you haven't seen for a while. It's not necessarily a rager in terms of an event, but
I don't know. Grandma's going pretty hard in the corner there.
yeah, she's got herself some Caesars, some spicy bean Caesars. She's going ham.
But that's a nice little event that I like to go to.
I love that, and that's one thing I enjoy about this conversation. Really, is like events is. It's so open to anything. Like,
Yeah.
the events is so broad. The interpretation of it is wild. So that's kind of cool. I like that.
The one thing that I haven't done in a long time, and I would like to do again, is one of those like brew bus days. Probably not dates. Well, it could be a date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you asking me out?
Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I heard you got a ring on it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Another ring. Anyway, so We had kind of talked about this, and my wife had actually planned it, and then COVID had happened. But when I was becoming a dad, she had a whole plan of going around Guelph with a whole bus trip. Like literally driving from Stratford to Guelph, and we're going to hit every single brewery in Guelph.
Yeah.
So doing something like that.
So a Brett event.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see why you'd like that.
No, I'm not saying I'm just saying that was like what I mean. I'm saying we could, Craft Beer Connoisseurs Brew Bus trip. We could do whatever you want to do. But just that thought in terms of picking a location, whether it be, London or Guelph or, wherever, Collingwood.
Yeah,
Creemore.
This could actually fall into number 3 coming up.
Is doing something like that in terms of renting a bus and then having people pay us money so we don't lose any money on the bus, and then driving to location, just having pints, enjoying our time.
There you go.
So it's funny you say that, and this kind of jumps ahead a bit.
Yeah, I might have jumped a lot.
But no, that's fine. Is there anything else that you want to add event-wise that you like?
Also a good taco fest. I love a good taco fest.
So I was going to say, I know that you've enjoyed some taco fest before, and I think that's good. We've also done one of the past producers and myself went ahead and did like the anniversaries of some of these breweries.
Yeah.
So we've done some anniversaries.
Also a good food and wine show as well. Food and wine show.
Very good. So, let's put a pin in what you just talked about. I think that's kind of cool. We'll come back to that. Best season for events. I think a lot of us have just mentioned, like summer kind of events.
Yeah.
Have you done anything in like winter or any other kind of events that you like? Because I know that like Stratford has done like a winter festival down at Lower Queens Park and all that, which has been kind of fun too.
Steam Whistle always runs that winter beer festival every year.
Yep.
And I was thinking, but it's usually done during the time of the Dominicans, so it's really hard to get to. But
Chris and I could go.
Yeah.
We could. Haven't seen you go yet. But if this year might be a little different in terms of not going to Dominican, so I might, things might happen. I could pull it off, right? I wouldn't mind something like that. I think sometimes when you are in cold weather, you can bond together a little more, freezing your ass off having a pint.
Yeah, it's true. Something to talk about
versus sweating your ass off having a pint, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think obviously summer's just best benefit. Maybe not on a 50 millimeter rain day.
Yeah.
But on a nice sunny day, nice like 26 with a feels like 31 kind of deal. You don't want too hot.
That's a bit hot.
You want a little cloud.
That's not.
You want a little
That's
cloud.
hot.
You want a little cloud to come in. Little maybe mist off the lake, perhaps where you are. Things like that.
So not like when we were at Paris Strings Fest. That was too hot.
That was balmy hot.
Yeah.
That's why you guys kept well hydrated through it.
I like that type of hot.
I like that hot, but not for an event.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, summer is the best because a lot of these events really lend themselves to being outdoors, right?
Absolutely.
And so to do it outdoors, you want to have the summer. I think it was like mid to late October one year, I went to, this was before I had Untapped actually, a cask festival in Toronto.
Nice.
It was about 3 degrees.
I didn't get that invite, that one.
No, this was this was a long time ago. I went with my dad. But
we were still friends.
Yeah, we were.
That?
But you weren't close. It was in downtown Toronto.
It's weird. I've never not had a vehicle since I was 15.
Yeah. And what I know about vehicles is that Tyler drives them a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Lots of mileage on the vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, not this one right now, but still.
Considerably.
Yeah. Anyways, so it was like 3 degrees in late October, as it sometimes is, and it was a grind to get through that because it was outdoors. I
think I would have pulled it off. I think I would have grinded through.
I pulled it off.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it was,
yes,
it was a grind.
Very good. Shout out to your parents. Saw them on Instagram, enjoying some lovely wine and enjoying their last little trip out. So.
Yeah, they did a nice little pickup for me at a few breweries that have previously been featured.
You said me. That's so weird.
Excuse me?
It's so weird.
Listen, it was tough enough getting them to pick up stuff for me. Okay.
I thought I was their son, but that's fine. All right, we'll do this one a little bit quick here, but maybe not too quick. But if you were to create running kind of an event, having your own event, what would be kind of unique to it? Is there anything special? I think, Brett, you kind of talked about something, but let's say the Craft Beer Connoisseurs, maybe we'll do this as a group. Craft Beer Connoisseurs are going to run an event.
Okay.
What would you like to see? What would you like to do? Is there anything that's kind of different?
I want to see all our producers in one spot at one time.
You know that's not going to happen.
I know.
I do think it'd be very interesting to have an event, whether it was Craft Beer Connoisseurs, maybe, and I've talked about this before, doing kind of that road trip. And we host it, and we talk to a couple of the breweries in and around one area, a specific location, where they would staff one person to make sure that when we come to that brewery, that we would do a brewery tour, as well as, include maybe a free flight or a flight in the package that we would do. I think it'd be really kind of cool. And we saw this when we did Reverence as well. Just a bunch of influencers and getting everybody together under one roof and doing like an influencer craft beer connoisseurs road trip where we hit up 3 or 4 different breweries.
Influencer meeting 2024.
Yeah, and I've seen this before where like there's YouTube meetups, there's Twitch meetups, there's podcast meetups. We could do a craft beer connoisseurs meetup, schedule with a brewery. If anybody wants to do this, let us know. And see if we can get something kind of bring in a bunch of influencers and just have like an influencers kind of meetup.
It'd be weird for the Twitch one though, because they did leave their house. Anyway,
well, they don't. That's the thing is, they meet up in certain places.
That's weird for them. They have to leave their house. Anyway, no, I think something like that would be a good idea.
And a bouncy castle.
Oh, I got 2 of those now.
Okay,
I got a water one and I got a basic one.
Okay,
so if anybody needs a bouncy castle or wants to rent it out, $50 charge. I'm kidding.
$50 per hour.
Yeah.
No, $50 and you pick it up.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I got 2 bouncy castles, so I can provide the bouncy castle. If we're gonna rent an event, I will gladly provide the bouncy castles.
Yeah. Chris, anything you want to add?
Yeah. So here's my event.
Third bouncy castle.
Yeah.
Pool party.
Yeah.
Not my pool. A better pool. Nicer in-ground pool.
Okay.
Big pool. Kegs from various breweries that we've featured on the podcast. You can bring your bouncy castle, Brett.
Nice.
And yeah, just good music and
so we're
just hanging out in the backyard.
talking like a high school kegger, just with like a hazy IPA and not some of your.
All right, hear me out.
Yeah,
we could do the brewery thing. Okay, we're gonna do a weekend. There's gonna be a brewery tour, bus tour, on one day. We rent out an Airbnb with a pool.
with a sick pool. Yeah.
Yeah. Influencer weekend. Everybody comes out. We do the brewery tours one day, come back. We've got kegs on tap. We do a live podcast from there. We get food brought
that's
in.
going to be a good idea to live podcast after we just did the bus trip.
No, it doesn't have to be after.
It's the next day.
It's the next day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you do a live podcast. You have some beer samplings. You have some flights. We get all this beer brought in. Everybody's just enjoying a good time. That is a good party.
Yes, because I remember trying to record a Saturday morning after Friday Night at Broken Stick, and that was not pretty at all.
No, fair enough. I'm just saying, that would be pretty sick. Would that not be a pretty dope idea?
That's a fusion of ideas. There
We
you
just
go.
got to think of monetary funding so that we don't lose money.
No, you bring everybody together and you have a set price, and then you get sponsored by different breweries, and they supply the beverages for the day.
Well, in the spirit of high school kegger, you charge $10 or something for someone to get
Whatever
in.
it is, but I think
The old cover charge.
The thing is what you could do is, because it'd be an influencer kind of party, is all of that just gets sponsored through, and that's part of the collaboration and the promotion for every brewery that would participate between all the platforms. Like you could get people brought in from that have huge followings, not just a podcast, but just Instagram, Twitch.
I don't know about Twitch.
So we need Airbnb to sponsor us to get us a sick pool house.
Honestly, this is simple. I'll start working on it tomorrow.
Okay, good.
All right, but
PowerPoint will be presented on Instagram within 2 weeks.
yeah, it will be. Cool. I think it's fun.
Yes.
It's kind of good to talk about different ideas
I
like
look
that.
forward to it.
All
All
right.
of it.
We're going to be right back with our farewell. All right, that's all for today's episode.
Thank you again for listening. Keep on listening. Every other Thursdays, the Craft Beer Connoisseurs release a new episode.
And make sure to tell your friends, family, and maybe an event planner, because We might need one.
We might need one.
We probably will.
Yeah.
So from all of us and Producer Shea, I'm Chris.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Tyler, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.